Hello. Welcome to the Natural Healthy Living channel. Today, I'm going to talk about the 7 warning signs that you might have diabetes. Every 10 seconds, someone in the world dies from diabetes-related complications. Diabetes kills 3.5 million people on the planet every year, and the forecast is that this number could increase by 25% in the next decade. So, watch until the end. I'll divide this video into 2 parts. The first part is about the early signs and symptoms of diabetes, those you can see or feel, the warning signs. And the second part, which I consider the most important, I'll talk about prevention, some measures that can reduce the risk of becoming diabetic, what habits you should have and foods you should consume to avoid this disease. But before that, please like the video, for people who don't have access to doctors or hospitals and need this information, and also share the video with your friends and family. What are the 7 warning signs that you should watch for that your blood glucose may be higher than normal? 7. Peeing too much. Are you urinating a lot? Did you know that the word diabetes is the Greek word for siphon? Yes, urinating too much, uncontrollably. Mellitus comes from the Latin for honey, because doctors used to taste urine and see that it had a sweet taste. So much so that when people with uncontrolled diabetes urinate, it can attract ants to the toilet. This is because the sweetness in your urine is the sugar that your kidneys are releasing. Your body simply can't process sugar properly and releases it into the urine. Peeing with sugar will dehydrate the person because glucose pulls water with it, causing osmotic diuresis. This is why diabetics also feel excessive thirst. The mouth is dry, the throat is dry because they are urinating with sugar and becoming dehydrated. Peeing too much and drinking a lot of water are classic symptoms of diabetes that you should be aware of. 6. Fatigue and tiredness. It's not the fatigue and tiredness you experience when you haven't slept well. On the contrary, sometimes you're sleeping well and still feel excessive fatigue all the time. It could be a symptom of diabetes. According to the American Diabetes Society, over 60% of people who have just been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes experience excessive fatigue. It's simply the second most common symptom of diabetes. This has to do with the relative lack of sugar in the cells and the excess sugar in the blood. 5. Skin changes. Pay attention to your skin. There are 2 main changes you should watch for. The first is called acanthosis nigricans. These are dark spots on the skin that mainly form in the folds of the neck, armpits, or groin, and they can be soft and velvety. Take a look at your neck or under your armpits. Is the skin darker than usual? Using a sponge, cream, or ointment won't lighten it. It's not dirt. It's a sign of insulin resistance. Acanthosis nigricans tells me that you are highly likely to have diabetes or to develop diabetes in the future. Why does this happen? As I mentioned, often with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, your body can produce too much insulin. This excess insulin causes normal skin cells to divide more rapidly. For people with darker skin, these new cells contain more melanin. And it's this increase in melanin that produces the skin patches. The second change to watch for is these wart-like growths. Skin tags. Where do they appear? On the neck, under the arms, in the groin, where those darker skin patches appear. This is also related to insulin resistance. For tingling and burning, do you feel burning or pain in your feet and hands? Did you know that diabetes and prediabetes are the #1 causes of burning feet? Yes, high glucose attacks the nerves, causing diabetic neuropathy. And nearly half of diabetics suffer from diabetic neuropathy. The numbness starts in the feet and usually shows a stocking pattern, where numbness moves up from the toes to the legs. And if you're a man, this nerve damage can lead to impotence. I know that foot heat, numbness is uncomfortable and painful, but this can be a warning sign that your body is suffering. 3. Frequent infections and inflammations. When blood sugar is not well controlled, it can affect the immune system, your body's defense, increasing the risk of infections and inflammations. That person who never had anything but starts getting sick. They have pneumonia, urinary tract infection, skin conditions like boils and folliculitis, candidiasis in the mouth, genital organs. And it could be diabetes. What do fungi like? Sugar. They are found in warm and humid areas, such as the mouth, genitals, armpits, and groin. They usually itch, but can cause local pain and burning. Another common infection in diabetics is gingivitis. Because the high blood sugar level can also make the sugar in saliva high, increasing bacterial growth. And these bacteria can cause not only gingivitis, but also periodontitis, which is inflammation of the gums and the bones that support the teeth. If left untreated, it can make the teeth loose and even fall out. 2. Blurred vision, can't see well? Is your vision blurry? It could be diabetes. Again, if you have high blood sugar levels, it will also increase the sugar in your eyes. And as I mentioned before, when there's sugar, it causes water to be drawn there. So the eye's lens swells and changes shape. When this happens, the image becomes blurred. 1. Excessive hunger and still losing weight? Diabetes can make you even hungrier than usual, specifically for sweet and sugary foods, what we call diabetic hyperphagia. The person feels hungry all the time. This is because the body feels it's running out of energy, increasing hunger, trying to replenish that energy. There are also hormonal changes in appetite regulation, especially because elevated insulin interferes with the hormone leptin, which helps regulate the feeling of fullness. With low leptin, the person continues to feel hungry even after eating. This happens because glucose is not being used and can be excreted in the urine. And since the body can't use the glucose correctly, it tries to find other sources of energy, destroying the muscles. And why is it important for you to understand more about this type of disease? Because diabetes is a silent disease. 1 in 3 people with diabetes in the world doesn't know they have the disease. In 1980, there were 108 million diabetics in the world. Today, there are over 537 million. And why is the diabetic population increasing so much? There's a main factor: obesity. The population has gained a lot of weight in recent years. Mainly due to our change in diet, we eat much more than before, and the foods are increasingly ultra-processed. The diet is obesogenic, meaning it causes obesity. And obesity causes diabetes. Obesity, especially central obesity, accumulation of fat in the abdomen, greatly increases the risk of developing diabetes. How to find out if you are diabetic or pre-diabetic? Through blood tests. The first and most common is fasting blood sugar testing. Normal is below 100 mg per dl. Between 100 to 125 is prediabetes, and diabetes is 126 mg per dl. The second test is the hemoglobin A1C test, which is the average of the last 10 weeks. Normal is below 5.7. Between 5.7% and 6. Diabetes starts from 6. The third test is the oral glucose tolerance test. Normal 2 hours after drinking that sweet liquid is less than 140 mg per dl. Between 140 to 199 would be prediabetes, and greater than or equal to 200 mg per dl is diabetes. One test alone doesn't tell you if you're diabetic or not. You would have to confirm it with a new test and see the other indexes as well. And now I'll give you 10 tips to prevent you from becoming diabetic and, if you do, to control your blood sugar well. 10. Sleep well. For a diabetic, getting enough sleep is as important as what you eat. Sleep 7 to 9 hours every day. Sleeping poorly increases cortisol, which worsens blood sugar, increases hunger, especially for junk food and sweets, and increases insulin resistance. 9. Drink plenty of fluids, especially water or sugar-free teas. Besides preventing dehydration, it helps the kidneys eliminate excess sugar through urine. 8. Eat more fiber. Fiber slows down the absorption of carbohydrates, avoiding blood sugar spikes. 7. Improve your gut flora. Mainly by eating fermented foods that contain probiotics like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi. They help improve glucose levels and reduce inflammation and insulin resistance. 6. Always check your blood sugar levels. 5. Eat more foods that contain magnesium and chromium. Magnesium deficiency has been associated with insulin resistance. Which foods are rich in magnesium? Dark leafy greens like spinach and kale, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, sweet potatoes, almonds, cashews, whole grains, lentils, beans, avocado, and banana. And chromium? Chromium is involved in the metabolism of carbohydrates and fats. It can enhance the action of insulin, helping to regulate blood sugar. Which foods are rich in chromium? Whole grains, fruits like apples and bananas, broccoli, lettuce, potatoes and beans, nuts, turkey breast, and meats. For reduce stress in your life, stress worsens blood sugar. Because they increase cortisol and adrenaline, reducing the amount of insulin produced by the pancreas, in addition to worsening insulin resistance. 3. To improve glucose, exercise. Our muscles are responsible for most of the glucose uptake after a meal. Exercise reduces blood sugar and makes the body more sensitive to insulin, so ride a bike, walk, swim, run. 2. Reduce refined carbohydrates in your diet. So white flour, pasta, bread, white rice, should be greatly reduced, and sugar should be cut out. Also avoid honey, avoid milk chocolate, avoid biscuits, try to reduce everything that's not whole. But don't cut out carbohydrates that are good for you, like fruits and vegetables. 1. Lose weight. This is the most important tip. Obesity is the main risk factor for the development of type 2 diabetes. Very obese people are 10 times more at risk of developing the disease. And on the other hand, losing weight can even reverse diabetes. I also suggest a 100% natural supplement that helps reduce and control blood sugar levels. Glucotrust is composed of natural ingredients: cinnamon, Gymnema sylvestre, zinc, manganese, juniper berries, biotin, licorice, and chromium. To help you, I'll leave the link in the video description and in the comments. You can also prevent diabetes if you have a tendency or are pre-diabetic, and even if you are diabetic, try to control your blood sugar well, avoiding its complications. And who knows, maybe even reverse it. Did you like the video? Remember to share it so more people have this knowledge, and until the next video. Thank you very much.